Mark here from Kernian Cognitive Labs to describe how to test an assignment that was created in TA. Recall in the previous videos, I showed you how to create and then edit the assignment called Chatelier's principle. The purpose of the editing process was to make sure that TA correctly interpreted the documents given to it during the creation of the assignment. Now that that's occurred, we should test the evaluation of responses that TA will make when the assignment is put into practice. This is not a mandatory step in the assignment manufacturing process, as refinement of the rubric can occur at other points. But testing it prior to actual student use can instill confidence in the assignment before that occurs. Here we see the assignment list for the class. We'll click on the test button for the assignment Le Chatelier's principle. The screen allows an instructor to test answers that might be entered by students in the future and modify the rubric if he or she senses that TA requires modifications in the way it interprets the responses. As stated before, modifications can be made at any time in the process, even during the instructor review and approval of a TA evaluated student submission. But in this step, instructors are allowed to test drive the assignment to see if it's working in the manner intended. I will not be making a full test in this video. You could do that by filling in the responses for each item that I've scrolled through, and then clicking the button on the bottom of the screen for Run Full Test Grading. By doing that, you will see the TA evaluation of each item returned to you. Alternatively, you could have each response evaluated one at a time, which is what I'm going to do today. If you feel like the evaluation is not on target from a comment or scoring perspective, modifications to the rubric can be made to fix it. Let's try writing in a response to see how TA evaluates it. Q1 asks for the student to write a goal for the lab. And here's what I think would be a good response. The goal of this lab is to investigate the reversibility of a chemical process and see the effects of stresses on an equilibrium system in light of Le Chatelier's principle. Next, we'll click Grade Question to see how TA evaluates the response. This will take a few seconds, but when the evaluation is returned, we can determine if TA did an appropriate job or not. If it doesn't return an appropriate evaluation, the rubric can be edited right on the spot by clicking the Edit Rubric button. Additionally, if you don't like the tone or the length of the comment given by TA, you can adjust that too by clicking on the Customize Feedback Tone button. By default, the tone is set to be positive, logical, encouraging, and respectful. The length is also set at 1 sentence. That could be changed to 2 sentences if you like, with a tone that you could describe by using your own words in the box here. My review of the comment TA provided is that it did a good job recognizing the goal written that was very much in line with the rubric, and the score is correct too. It says, through your identification of chemical reversibility and Le Chatelier's principle as central themes, you successfully established the primary objectives of this experiment. It gave a score of 0.25 out of 0.25. If you disagree with the comment or score from TA, you may want to edit the rubric so that it's more aligned with your expectations. Prior to doing that, though, you might want to find out about why TA gave the comment and grade that it did. This can be done by using the TA support assistant we affectionately refer to as Terry the test tube. Terry the test tube is shown at the bottom right-hand side of the page. Terry can answer general questions about TA or specifically debug rubrics to better do the job, which is evaluating responses as if you would do it if you were grading things by yourself. Let me click on Terry to show you what that looks like. We're going to debug the question. I need to select which question it is, which was question number 1, the goal for the lab. And what you'll find is the answer that I had supplied before in the sample answer box. You could see the result of the grading, which we saw before, which was 0.25 out of 0.25, and the comment that TA made. The student task and grading criteria from the rubric is shown here, and then it simply gives you a place to ask, like, what's wrong? If you think that it was graded incorrectly, you could ask it why, and then press Analyze to get a response. Similar analysis of responses could be done for all the items that follow. But let's skip down to the data table, where you can see some representative information has already been placed in. I'm going to put the data in for the color that would be expected. In this particular lab, a well plate was used for various changes to be made to a system comprised of an acid-base indicator called bromephenol blue, which is identified here by BPB. Well, one drop of BPB should have the color blue associated when it comes out of the bottle. If you add HCl to it, it should turn the color yellow. If you add NaOH to it, it should become the color blue. If you were to take the materials in well A1 and add 2 drops of NaOH to it, it should turn blue. And then conversely, in after step number 10 in well A3, after adding 2 drops of HCl to the container that had one BPB and one NaOH in it, it should turn that yellow. But just so you can see what would happen if a wrong answer was supplied or if data was incorrect, I'm going to place blue in there for us to be able to take a look at what it is that gets returned when TA does its evaluation. So right now, TA is taking a look at this data table based on the rubric that was supplied, and it will be giving us a response and a score based on the information that was put into the data table. Remember, when you produced the rubric, you were able to weight whether or not you wanted perfect answers to be given, or if you wanted information about the kind of things that were done to be shown and be weighted a little bit more in the evaluation process. What as it was set right now, perfect data I think was more weighted than anything else. So you can see here that the response gets returned, although your data table correctly identifies the expected color changes for the first 4 steps. Your final entry for step 10 indicates a blue result, where the addition of excess acid to your basic solution would typically transition your indicator back to yellow. So it took some points off. It only gave it 2.13 out of 2.5, which I think would be a reasonable value to give it based on the expectations and the rubric that was written. If you think things should be changed, then you could edit the rubric part for that question. Once you've tested all the questions, you did a full test run, you should return to the course with confidence in how TA will evaluate a student's submission. So let's return to the course now. In the next tutorial, we'll take a look at how you can link this assignment so that students can submit it. And we'll also review an assignment which has been submitted so that you can see the kinds of information you can get from doing that. See you next time.